Let the fun times begin. Scandals broken with a wink. Politics served with a drink. Breaking headlines you might miss. Wrapped in an ironic twist. Playful fun at all the wives.
Good evening, everyone. It is the 22nd of August, and we have all of the news stories. In fact, we start off with a headline that, it's 2024, but I need 2024 to dial back the crazy to like at least a nine. I'm just asking for a friend. We're at Spinal Tap 11 right now. We need to be back at a nine just for like a week or so. But our first news story, and I know I generally don't get political, but this is kind of a breaking uh, WTF story, to be honest with you. Police officers are on the hunt for a PDF file, if you're catching my drift, who threatened to shuffle Trump off this mortal coil, who's in the loose in a border region where the former president is supposed to speak soon. So this would be our, um, well, I guess our search person, the person that we are looking for. Police officers in Arizona are hunting for a convicted person that can't be near schools who allegedly threatened to unalive Donald Trump, and they believe he's on the loose in the border region where the president is set to speak Thursday. Ronald Lee Sivert has several outstanding warrants, including one for a DUI in Wisconsin and a hit and run in Arizona. Well, he did threaten to do the same general thing. So, but it looks like he is the Johnny Appleseed of felonies everywhere across this great land of ours, just like the first person, because he's got a DUI in Wisconsin and a hit and run in Arizona. And he's also in trouble for not registering as, a Lord Chippy contestant. He is described as 6 feet tall and 220 pounds and does wear glasses. Trump is set to visit Sierra Vista, Arizona, which is in Cochise County, uh, Thursday morning to address, obviously current southern border things. Now, I feel like this is Groundhog's Day, but didn't we just kind of live through this and the world nearly stopped about 3 weeks ago, less than a month ago? I mean, at this point, if Trump doesn't have his own private security, I need to be in charge of that because at this point, holy fazoli. Oh, thank you. This is another wig. I just love having wigs because then I don't have to figure out what to do with my hair, which is, half the battle sometimes. So there you go. At least they're looking for him this time. I mean, it's a plus up. We are looking before any, freedom seeds are put down range this time. We're getting better at this. We're getting better. Have a great evening, Alex G, and I will see you on the replay crew. In our other big story tonight, well, Chris Watts just doesn't want anyone to send him a Christmas gift. I mean, Chris Watts just doesn't want anyone to forget that I think Scott Peterson is getting a lot of attention, and Chris Watts was like, wait a minute, if there's a husband that everyone's going to hate in America, it's going to be me. So he decided to open his mouth again and, well, continues to blame everyone else, not himself. Which, are we shocked? Shock peek of two-face. I mean, killer dad Chris Watts now blames his quote-unquote control freak wife for the affair that led him to unalive her and their two young daughters. I'm not sure that maths, but okay. So, did she nag you to have an affair? Did she pick up and put you on Craigslist or get you a Bumble account or whatever? Because I'm a little confused how this maths. Chris Watts continues to blame everyone but himself for his decision to horrifically unalive his wife and two young daughters in August 2018. In newly revealed letters, he labeled his pregnant wife Shannon a quote unquote control freak and claimed he sought refuge with his mistress, who was everything my wife wasn't like me. The Post has viewed several handwritten notes from the 39-year-old who is currently serving life sentence in a small cell in Dodge Correctional Institution in Wisconsin. Well, I could think of no better place for him to be other than Snake Island. What an absolute jerk. Watts admitted to strangling his wife, 34, in their Colorado home on August 13th, 2018. Then he drove her body to a job site at an oil company where he worked and dumped her. His two daughters, Bella and Celeste, were in his truck, and he allegedly suffocated them as they begged for mercy and then stashed their bodies in oil drums. But I'm sure his wife made him do it. Ugh. His alleged motive so that he could be with his mistress, Nicole Kressinger. Watts pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Colorado prison officials soon arranged to have him transferred to Wisconsin for his safety. Welcome, squid pro quo. In addition to his handwritten letters, Watts shared most of his thoughts with Dylan Tallman, a fellow prisoner at the Wisconsin lockup who befriended Watts. Tallman was in the cell next to Watts, and the two men became close. After Watts reneged on his commitment to write a prayer book with Tallman, he released a series of 3 books titled The Cell Next Door. Okay, who's gonna read a prayer book from Christopher Watts? That's like mother advice from Diane Downs or Susan Smith, or How to Be a Lawyer by Daryl Brooks. Who is letting this man co-author a biblical prayer book? Watts confided to Tallman that his marriage with Shannon was unhappy, according to letters. She was really busy with her job and everything it required, Watts told Tallman, adding he was often the primary caregiver to his daughters. Well, okay, and then this is the other guy that was going to write a prayer book. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. I couldn't write in a script to Hollywood. I mean, this looks like after Napoleon Dynamite, his uncle meets LaFwanda and has his wardrobe change. When Watts lost weight and started working out in 2017, he said that women started paying attention to him. I met Nicole, he said, and she was just everything my wife wasn't, like with me. She was just nice and not a control freak. We could make decisions together. We knew each other for a while and we didn't start messing around until 6 weeks before, he continued. I was not thinking. We worked together, we had chemistry, and I fell into temptation. She was the forbidden fruit. And you were, I'm sorry, where were you robbed of your ability to, I don't know, have self-control? I keep looking for that passage where, and God struck him of his ability to discern good from evil. In one letter previously obtained by the Post, he also called her a harlot and Jezebel who led him to destruction. No, sir, I'm pretty sure you did that on your own self. In one letter dated March 2020, Watts wrote a prayer of confession. Quote, "The words of a harlot have brought me low." He wrote her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know that all her guests were in the chamber of death. Well, it's no Tennyson. Uh, Chris, Chris, y- you unalived your wife because you got her pregnant and your mistress said, yeah, if you are still physically active with your wife, I will leave you. Eh, Yeah, this is the dumbest thing ever. I'm sorry that you thought with your, little Chris instead of your big Chris head, and but I'm more sorry that your wife and children paid for it. Of all the people that couldn't take a long walk off a short pier, it'd be that guy. A Georgia mayor was arrested on felony charges after allegedly storing alcohol in ditch for inmates. Well, I mean, everyone's got to have a buggy now, and maybe this mayor was on Uber Eats for booze for prisoners. It could be a thing. A mayor of a small town in Georgia faces felony charges alleging that he illegally stashed a bottle of gin in a ditch for a state prison crew to access. Thompson Mayor Benjamin Benji Carey Cranford, 52, was indicted on Wednesday and arrested by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation agents on felony charges of furnishing prohibited items to inmates and an attempt to commit a felony. The indictment, issued in McDuffie County Superior Court, accuses Cranford of driving to a store on June 3rd, purchasing a bottle of Seagram's Extra Dry Gin, and leaving it in a ditch along Cobham Road in Thompson, Georgia, in a path of a work crew of state prisoners from Jefferson County Correctional Institute. I mean, I don't know, maybe that would get our potholes fixed quicker. I'm just saying. Look, have you dealt with some potholes? Because I'd be willing to put like a bottle of Pinot Noir in a ditch if we're going to get new paved roads. Thompson police asked GBI on June 6 to investigate allegations that Cranford had provided alcohol to inmates. Cranford was taken into custody at Thompson City Hall by GBI agents following a city council meeting and booked into the McDuffie County Jail, according to WRDW TV. He was released Wednesday on $15,000 worth of bail. As we understand, the charges in this case are not related to Mr. Cranford's duties as an elected official. We do not have any comment right now. A city spokesperson, Jason Smith, said in a statement, Cranford could be subject to suspension from office until the charges are resolved if a panel recommends to Georgia Republican Governor Brian Kemp that the charges could hinder Cranford's ability to serve as mayor. Some other officials have previously been suspended when they were slapped with a felony that was not directly linked into their office abilities. So there you go. The mayor took office earlier this year after defeating incumbent Kenneth Ursay in an election last year. Earlier this month, Cranford, a former paving contractor, settled a lawsuit filed before he ran for office accusing him of attempting to hide assets from a bonding company that was stepping in to pay some of Cranford's company debts amid financial troubles and to ensure large-scale projects undertaken by Cranford's company could be completed. Well, I mean, it could happen. Paving contractors, I'm sure, are notoriously honest and would never buy gin for booze hounds. I don't know. I think we need to test this. I'm going to have to go to Georgia and see if there's just, gin in every rain gully. It's the promised land. Really, it is. Screen matched Indiana Jones fedora sold for $630,000. Well, dang it. Why can't I ever find Indiana Jones fedora in my house and sell it? The famous fedora sported by Harrison Ford in 1984's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom fetched the uh, eye-watering sum of $630,000 at auction. Memorabilia company Prop Store said the heroic hat was among more than 450 items up for bids in its U.S. Entertainment Memorabilia live auction. This fedora was made specifically for the second installment of the Indiana Jones series and matches the film's shots, production stills, and behind the scenes footage of Ford in the village sets on location in Sri Lanka in the mine cart chase scene, shot at Elstree Studio, and the river sequence shot in the US. The hat was part of a personal collection of Dean Firini, a stunt performer who also wore the hat while doubling for Ford in the film. The stunt performer died in 2023. So there you go. I'm just saying, I wish My Little Ponies would, fetch ne- daggone near 700K. In breaking news, a missing woman's remains have been found on her husband's property more than 3 years after she vanished. Michigan State Police confirmed on Wednesday, August 21st, that Dee Warner's death has been ruled a homicide. Good evening, Tammy. I hope you had a great day. The remains of a missing Michigan woman have been found on a property owned by her husband more than 3 years after she vanished. On Wednesday, August 21st, Michigan State Police confirmed that human remains found on Dale Warner's property that were that of mother of four Dee Ann Warner, 52, of Tecumseh, Michigan, who was reported missing on April 25th, 2021, from her home on Munger Road in Franklin Township. Uh, today, Today, further investigation was conducted by the Jackson County Medical Examiner's Office on the human remains that were found on Dale Warner's property. A statement shared on uh, MSP First District X, formerly known as Twitter's account, read: The Jackson County Medical Examiner has positively identified the remains of Dee Warner. The police confirmed Dee's death has been ruled a homicide. The manner of death has been confirmed, however, it will be withheld pending further investigation. Although there has been a positive identification on the remains and manner of death has been confirmed, it is still an ongoing investigation. Investigators will continue to gather evidence and work with the Lonnie County Prosecutor's Office to ensure conviction. Dale Warner's attorney did not immediately respond when contacted by People. The update comes after police confirmed on Sunday, August 18th, that human remains had been found in a propane tank on a property owned by Dale during the execution of a search warrant on Friday, August 16th. The missing woman's family members said at the time that they believed that the remains, which were found inside a weather-worn, secluded barn on one of Dale's property off of Paragon Road, were Dee's. The tank generally held anhydrous ammonia, which is used in fertilizer for farming. A family spokesperson previously told WTVG the tank was reportedly sealed shut with a "Do Not Use" sign on it, per the outlet. The family spokesperson stated chemicals weren't in the tank when the remains were found. State police confirmed in a news release on November 22nd, 2023, that Dale had been arrested and was facing charges of open murder and tampering with evidence, stating he'd been arraigned in Lenawee County District Court. I'm extremely proud of the tireless work our detectives have put in to solve this case, Captain Stephen O'Neill, Commander, 1st District Headquarters, said in a release at the time. With incredible determination, they have pieced together a very difficult case culminating with an arrest. This arrest is another step in our investigation, and we will continue our efforts to bring closure to the family and to find Dee Warner's remains so her family can lay her to rest. Dale previously pled not guilty and has long maintained his innocence. In June 2024, a judge ruled that there was enough evidence for him to stand trial for his wife's murder. So, so Wolfram, it's spelled Lenawee. So I just made up what it was supposed to sound like, but I'm sure I have butchered that name incredibly because I just have that ability. You know, maybe don't do this, but I could see how this could happen. And this is why I probably won't ever take karate. A boozed up karate master beats up a worker dressed as a ghost, then sues haunted house and loses. Oh, could we just spell it like that, Wolfram? That's it. We need to have phonetic spellings on things. I mean, who among us hasn't become a karate master and then, accidentally karate chopped a, you know, kid working minimum wage at a haunted house? Who among us? Throw the first stone. A boozed up karate expert in Japan shattered the jaw of a worker dressed as a ghost because he got startled at a haunted house. That poor person that had to wear that ghost makeup too. I mean, you go in, you have to work at basically the world's biggest Halloween spirit store, and then you get your jaw broken. Look, just don't startle anyone unless you know that they have karate powers, and then doubly don't startle that person. The suing sensei claimed that it was simply a reflex when he landed a kick to the face on a worker who had frightened him at uh, Kyoto Studio Park in 2011. Okay. Well, I mean, I could see how you could maybe argue it. During a 13-year legal battle, the injured ghost won $68,400 in a settlement from the karate pro as payment for his broken jaw in 2015. But the half-cocked high kicker, whose name hasn't been released, later filed a lawsuit claiming that the park was partially responsible for the attack because it failed to train staff to prevent attacks by scared visitors, according to the outlet. Look, they're getting minimum wage. I don't think they're also going to take Krav Maga, but okay. In the lawsuit, he claimed that the park didn't, quote, inform customers that humans were playing the role of ghosts. You thought they were played by real ghosts? And demanded it pay 70% of the settlement. Now, that was a bold strategy, and he did, you lose 100% of the shots you don't take, but it just, you know, they said no. He also argued that the theme park should have prevented him from entering the attraction because he had been drinking. But the Osaka High Court ruled against the karate master last month, saying the kick was an overreaction that went beyond the scope of a reflexive action taken out of sheer fear. It's difficult to find any justifiable motive or logical rationale for the attack, the court stated, noting that the park is not liable. But, Your Honor, they know I was drunk and they let me continue to be drunk in public. I mean, that should be your next argument. That's what I would try. While it is true that the aim of staff portraying ghosts is to surprise customers, this is done with the understood principle that a haunted house is something that can be safely enjoyed, the court reportedly wrote. The karate expert had entered the haunted house where several samurai themed Japanese movies had been shot, holding hands with a coworker. In his failed lawsuit, he also claimed there should have been a physical barrier between the ghosts and the guests. Is it everyone not take responsibility for their own actions day? I mean, you got Chris Watts, this guy, every single person in the news, basically. I don't know. This is just, it's like, look, it was not my fault, Your Honor. He was a ghost and I was drunk. Again, with headlines I never thought I was going to read, but I'm so happy I get to. A woman wakes to raccoons attacking her in bed after creatures fell through a neglected ceiling. Welcome, Puddletown. I mean, you guys, the headlines that I have read over the year, these poor trash pandas, they were scared. Let's not blame the trash pandas for falling into her, bedroom. A woman asleep in the comfort of her bed in Missouri claims she was rudely awakened by a cascade of raccoons damaged ceiling, and in some lawsuit filed her accountability for the attack the pandas. I know, I just don't even because it's the internet. Amanda Henry of Kansas City filed her petition for damages against SCIREI LLC and Stage Door Property Management LLC in County August 15th. For public Yeah, I know it's yeah, the internet was just being a bit of a butt. Hopefully, it's back. Now she is claiming at least $25,000 in damages. While the plaintiff was asleep in her bed, multiple raccoons fell through the damaged ceiling and attacked plaintiff, causing injuries. I can only imagine going into the ER and telling the doctor, no, this was a wild feral raccoon attack. No, in my bedroom. Why do you ask? That incident at Howry's rental home occurred in February 2023 and is a byproduct of what the woman says is neglect to the property, including an open hole in the roof, an unrepaired roof, and compromised or damaged ceiling. Howry alleges that before the raccoons landed on her, she had no idea that the conditions were so poor and that no reasonable person living in the unit would have been able to see the ceiling damage coming. She alleged 2 counts of negligence, arguing that the rental companies knew or should have known the premises were dangerous. Howry says that the raccoon attack has resulted in medical expenses, disfigurement, and lost wages. She also claims to have suffered mental anguish and past and future loss of enjoyment of life. An attorney for the landlords did not respond to a request for comment from Law and Crime. Neither did the raccoons. Yes, they were. Actually, Wolfram, we need to contact Jody Arias. I think I have a defense line figured out. It was not only ninjas, but it was Trash Panda ninjas. We've got it. And, ladies, you're all lovely. I'm sure you could have found dates outside of the prison you were working at, but I guess, some people try, Plenty of Fish in the Sea or eHarmony, and some people try the Fulton County Jail for love. 4 security guards accused in a cell phone chicken pot pie sex scandal at beleaguered Fulton County Jail. Welcome, JKD Buck. Okay, I can get the cell phones, I can get the smexy, but chicken pot pie? I don't know. Four jail security contractors faced charges in a contraband smuggling conspiracy that included cell phones, a chicken pot pie, and smexy time with an inmate at the beleaguered Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. LaQuinia Ballard, 34, Regina Harris, 26, Bracia Tate, 26, and Anzia Silas, 24, each faced charges of conspiracy and providing prohibited items to an inmate, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. Fundian, you're just going to go mute with all the things you can't say today. Who is the guy that was like, "No, I don't want a cell phone and I don't want smexy time, but could you possibly bring me in a chicken pot pie?" The four women were employed by a jail contractor and were working on the sixth and seventh floor of the lockup. Quote, these women unfortunately chose to be on the wrong side of the law by fraternizing with residents they were entrusted with watching over, said Fulton County Sheriff's Pat LeBlatt in a statement. They will now have to face consequences for the crimes they are accused of committing. I mean, call me crazy, and this might be totally politically wrong in current year of our clown 2024. But could we have male guards guarding men and female guards guarding females? And then maybe we wouldn't have this at least smexy time problem. It's not a great one. Ballard is accused of sending explicit photos and videos to an inmate and accepting at least two payments from two different residents for cell phones and cigarettes. Tate also faces charges of improper contact, authorities said. She's accused of having the smexy time with a resident at least three times and bringing at least six cell phones and other contraband into another inmate for which she received payment. Silas also faces an additional charge of providing an inmate with unauthorized staff meal, citing court records. Local ABC affiliate WSB reported it was a chicken pot pie. The station reported the four suspects were terminated from their jobs. Fulton County Jail is the subject of a U.S. Justice Department investigation into living conditions, medical and mental health care, and use of excessive force and accusations of violence, federal officials have said. The probe was launched last year after allegations surfaced that an inmate had died covered in insects and filth. As justification for the investigation, the DOJ also noted that there had been credible allegations made that the Fulton County Jail was structurally unsafe and prevalent violence had resulted in serious injuries and homicides, and officers were being prosecuted for excessive force. LeBlatt has blamed understaffing. Last month, the county commission decided to renovate the jail for $300 million. The Fulton County Jail is also where the first former president of the United States took his famous mugshot. But there you go. Fulton County, you just can't get any good news. You and Boeing are just having a real cruddy year. Y'all, what is going on with Alicia Silverstone? Is she still chewing her son's foods for him like a little baby bird? Because I'll have to say that's about the last thing I kept up with her, and that was just a total no-go. Yes, excessive force, Puddle Town, not the other one. Alicia Silverstone is updating a concerning social media, fans and viewers about her well-being after she posted a TikTok of herself appearing to eat a poisonous fruit earlier this week. In a follow up Instagram on Tuesday, the Clueless star joked that she was still alive and well, and don't worry, I didn't swallow. Winky face, smiley face. Instagram users flooded her comment section with relieved words after Silverstone announced that she had thankfully cheated death. No problem. I The internet shows that it's running fine here, but it is just who knows. Glad you're okay, one person wrote. Another commented, yeah, we were worried. Whew, I was stressing. Glad you're all right. Just the day before, Silverstone alarmed her 4 million plus followers when she filmed herself holding a small orange colored fruit and taking a bite out of it. At the time, she asked her fans for help identifying the mystery fruit. Ma'am, are you like a doggone toddler? If you don't know what it is, don't put it in your mouth. That could be apropos for many situations. But in this general case, if you pick a berry and you don't know what it is, maybe don't eat it. I don't know. Okay, I discovered something that I can't figure out what it is. I need your help, the actress said in a TikTok on Monday while walking the streets in England. Uh, I just bit into it because it was on the street and we were discussing whether this was a tomato or not. It's definitely not. So, what the heck is it? Because when you open it, it looks like that. She continued, showing off the squashed fruit on the ground. And if I bite it, I don't think you're supposed to eat this, but it's almost like a pepper. Does anyone know what this is? TikTok users sprang into Silverstone's comment section at the time with speculations that the miniature fruit was a Jerusalem cherry, which is poisonous. Eating a Jerusalem cherry can cause symptoms including a fever, sweating, vomiting, stomach pain, headache, and increased heart rate, according to Queensland's Poisonous Information Center. The symptoms can last for many days and may even lead to death. So don't eat things that you pick out of other people's gardens and you don't know what they are. I mean, I should not be the voice of reason here, y'all, but apparently I am. In another sad story from a prison, although it's not, it is about prison smuggling, but this is a more tragic case, not, you gave someone a pot pie for some reason. Three people have been charged after the death of a prison worker who opened a fentanyl-laced mail package. A federal prison inmate and two other people were charged Tuesday with conspiring to mail drugs to a penitentiary in California, where a mailroom supervisor died this month after opening a letter that prosecutors said was laced with fentanyl and other substances. According to prosecutors, Jamar Jones, a prisoner at the U.S. Penitentiary in Atwater, California, plotted with Stephanie Fiorina of Evansville, Indiana. Look, we're not sending our best mail. Uh, and German Rudd III of Wentzville, Missouri, to send him not street legal pharmaceuticals that he could sell in prison. They would disguise the shipment as legal mail from a law office, investigators said. The penitentiary's mailroom supervisor, Mark Fisher, fell ill on August the 9th after opening a letter addressed to Jones that contained multiple pages that appeared to be soaked or coated with the drugs, according to FBI file affidavit filed in connection with the charges. Within 5 minutes, according to the affidavit, Fisher started to stumble around and asked for medical help, telling a colleague, I don't feel well and it's going up my arm. He was taken to a hospital and died 2 hours later. Fisher's cause of death remains undetermined, pending toxicology reports. Briefly touching fentanyl cannot cause an overdose, and researchers have found that the risk of a fatal overdose from the accidental exposure is low. There was no attorney listed in court papers for Jones, who is expected to appear in court for the charges next week. A number listed in public records for Firia, uh, Fioria hasn't even been set up. There are no working phone numbers for Rudd. Fisher's death is the latest serious incident in the Bureau of Prisons, which operates 122 federal prisons and has faced a myriad of crises in the recent years, from rampant SA and other criminal conduct by staff to chronic understaffing, escapes, and high profile deaths. In 2019, the agency began photocopying inmate letters and other mail at some federal correctional facilities across the country instead of delivering the original parcels, in an attempt to combat the smuggling of synthetic narcotics. Legislation was introduced by a bipartisan group of congressional lawmakers in 2023 to require the Bureau of Prisons director to develop a strategy to interdict fentanyl and other synthetic drugs sent through the mail to federal prisons nationwide. Interesting. Puddletown, you are on fire tonight with those. It never fails. I swear to goodness, my neighbors are now playing their loud music outside. In our final story tonight, it's so funny. Sometimes I'll have a bajillion stories pulled up and I won't even get through four of them in the hour. And then sometimes I'll have eight stories pulled up and I'll be done in 30 minutes. It never fails. But our final story, if you could not get enough of Pommel Horse Guy, Stephen Nordisk, he is joining Dancing with the Stars season 33. Now, this would make another Dancing with the Stars that I probably won't be watching, but if you want to see more of Pommel Horse Guy, he will be on your local television. From Paris to the Ballroom, Stephen Nordisk, also known as Pommel Horse Guy, following his historic performance at the 2024 Paris Olympics, is joining the cast of Dancing with the Stars season 33. The 25-year-old gymnast appeared on Good Morning America Thursday to share the news. Let's see here. He's hoping to bring some of his pommel horse moves to the ABC competition series. Why do that when you could go dance with Rachel Ray Gunn and you guys could, oh my gosh, he could bring breakdancing back. Come on now. I want to do some flares. I want to bring some of that gymnastics, maybe a black backflip or a handstand. I want to have fun with it. Nordisk was also asked if he plans to dance with his glasses on. I might have fun with it, he said. I'm afraid they're going to fly off, is the thing. Maybe we can do a gadget to keep them on, or maybe a new pair of glasses to match the theme. That's what I'm thinking. That would be awesome. The Olympian immediately said yes to doing the show when he was called. I'm very excited. So, I mean, I'm glad he's excited. You could not pay me enough to dance in front of people. Uh, he is the first celebrity announced on Dancing with the Stars season 33. The rest of the competitors will be announced live on Good Morning America on September the 4th. The new season will be hosted by Julianne Ho and Alfonso Ribeiro, Derek Ho, Carrie Ann Inaba, and Bruno Tonoli. I don't know who any of these people are. I have not watched one season of Dancing with the Stars. Now, he is the first male gymnast to appear on Dancing with the Stars. Female gymnasts who have been on the show include Simone Biles, Ali Rassman, Soon Lee, Sean Johnson, and Mary Lou Retton. Oh, Huff. Danny T, thank you. Where would I be without you guys telling me what I'm mispronouncing? Because I don't know, because I don't watch these shows. I do know who Mary Lou Retton is, if that's anything to go by. Now, uh, pommel horse guy became a national hero at the Olympics when he competed an incredible pommel horse routine in the team final for the US, earning a score of 14.866. His impressive showing won Team USA its first medal in the event since 2008. The Massachusetts native became a viral meme when he was seen closing his eyes while readying for the event. We were probably going to mail or medal if I nailed my set, and they were jumping up and down, and I was like, I think we did it. He told reporters in Paris, and they picked me up, and man, that's a memory that's going to live in my head forever. He then earned a bronze medal in the individual pommel horse final. He drew comparisons to Clark Kent and Superman after he took off his glasses just before performing one of his routines. Oh, I like him. I knew he sounded familiar, but I couldn't remember who he was. And with my new innate ability to forget names and faces, I was like, that's probably not the Carlton guy. Uh, I'll definitely take, Clark Kent or Superman, he told NBC's Today Show at the Olympics. In a way, it's kind of like that, I'm a goofy guy with glasses on, but as soon as I take them off, I'm locked in and ready to go. So there you go. If you would like to see Pommel Horse Guy on Dancing with the Stars, if you'd like to send Chris Watts maybe hey, buddy, it's you, not anyone else, letters. Or if you would just like to maybe make sure that no one is taking cell phones, chicken pot pies, or any sort of street pharmaceuticals into your prisons, we need to keep an eye on that apparently this year. Guys, I will see you in the morning. I am a little bit worried about the headlines that I am going to see in the news tomorrow because holy fazoli's, every single time I think that is the craziest thing I've said on the internet as a headline. It's Puddletown. As always, I am sending you off to the lawyer you know. I think he's talking about Sarah Boone, and then Squid Pro Quo, I think, has a politics channel, maybe later. I think Shizzy is doing something with the DNC. So gird your loins and bring your brain bleach if you got to watch that one. But other than that, I'm going to see and make sure. I okay, my sons are outside riding my knee scooter from when I first broke my foot like a scooter. You know what? Our insurance paid for it, so I guess that's the most expensive scooter that we've got. Oh well, I mean, at least it's getting used for something at this point. Anywho, I will see you guys in the morning, and let's see what Friday news headlines can bring for us. I'm you know, you just never know what 2024. Life is like a box of chocolates. You just never know which ones are already going to be bitten into and which ones are going to be molded. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a lovely evening. Bye, guys.